Okay, so in this exercise, we are learning to draw a circle free-handed, um, and this circle we are going to um, turn into a ball. So when we are through with this exercise, this circle will give the appearance as if it were a ball. So that's the first thing you are going to do. Now, do not matter too much about um, the ruggedness of the lines. For now, just make sure that you have it looking like a ball. As soon as you have completed that, you can let me know. You can determine the size that you want it.
I'm done.
Alright. Now you remember when we were drawing the table and we drew the line right across. We draw this line. This line is going to represent our table that the ball is resting on. So we are going to go this here for the back. As soon as you do that, notice you don't want it any longer. So from about there to there. And as soon as you do that, you let me know.
Done.
Alright, then we are going to put another line right here at the front, but this one is going to be a little bit longer than the one that is at the back. Soon as you have done that, you let me know.
Done.
Good. The next thing we are going to do now is that we are going to draw from this point to this point and make sure that the line at the back is longer than the one at the front. Do not worry too much about the ruggedness of your lines.
Done.
Alright, then you are going to remove this section of the line.
Done.
Alright, right here you are going to drop this line down, straight down, so it is going to be vertically down. You can use the side of your paper to determine whether or not it is straight down. So on both sides you are going to go straight down with the line, and then you are going to draw right across like this.
Done.
Okay, now you're going to imagine that a light is shining from here onto your image. So you're imagining that there's a light shining from about here onto your image. So this is where your light is coming from. So just a little indication that you want. So if you want, you can just put that there, but that is just where to say where the direction of your light is coming from. Alright, so that is just to help you to remember where your light source is coming from. Then you are going to put a shadow which is kind of elliptical. Now the shadow looks like this. It's like a ellipse. It's lying flat, on the surface because of the light that is there. Notice where it is coming from. So it's like you draw a flat circle line on the table looking somewhat like this. Do not darken your lines, keep your lines light. Please do not darken those lines. So this is like a round circle that is lying on the table. Do not draw it dark. Okay. Then right here, you are going to make a distinction. We want to make a distinction right here. We are going to do this. Watch me carefully first. And we are going to shade. Right here is going to be darker. We're following the shape that we have there. But right close to where, like we are touching this circle, it's going to be darker there, and it's going to fade. Coming out is going to be lighter. Watch me closer. Watch me a little first before you start. So we want you to watch how I'm shading. There's a reason. Watch how I shade, and if you can do it just the same way, look how I turn the pencil and look how I'm shading. Very important. So closest to this circle, right on the underneath, it's darker, but as it goes out, it fades gradually. Notice how I'm doing the fading. Nothing that is sudden. You don't want it to be sudden. Take your time. And notice how I go over the area and I come back out, fading slightly. So it's important that you get this technique in where you're not seeing any like gaps in between the shading, but you know that it's getting lighter as it moves away from the circle. It's darkest coming close to the circle. You can turn your pencil this way just to make sure you get it properly. And right seated underneath here is the darkest area. It's very, very important. Notice now I apply a little bit more value to the tone, or to this. This is a shadow I am creating right here. The shadow that is there. But notice that I did not do this one time. I gradually go over and get it darker and darker. So this is something that you want to remember. Go ahead and try this now. Gradually you get darker, but the darkest area is closest to where the circle seems to be resting on the surface or the table. As soon as you have gotten that, you let me know. Take your time now. Don't rush this one. Take your time because you want it to look nice. You don't want it to look abrupt or too sudden. And notice that it fades out and it gets lighter as it moves away. Finish?
Yeah, Michael's correct.
Alright. Oh, that's Michael?
Yeah.
Alright, you're following Michael?
Yeah.
Alright. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to rub this little circle out. We don't want this again. Now, one of the things that we want to remember is that the shading is, there should be no break as it moves away from the circle. There is no break, so it gradually fades out into the lighter areas. All right, now right here I'm going to shade from right here. Notice I'm making a mark, and it must be lightly done. So right here I'm going to be shading, making a mark to see where the shading is going to take place, to come around right here where it is going to be lightest, because this is where the light that is shining on it is most intense. So right here we just make a little mark like this. Michael, Teresa, do not darken this line.
Done.
And then this is how we are going to approach this now. We are going to start to shade. Watch me carefully as I shade. I'm going to be darkening, shading, going towards there, but I'm doing this gradually, little by little. My darkest area is going to be right here, where the balls seem to be, or the circles seem to be touching the table. And I am shading in a diagonal kind of a fashion. If you have a 4B, it's best to use your 4B or a 3B. If you have the ordinary pencil, try
2B.
Okay, beautiful. Try your best. So right here is going to be your darkest area, and then it's going to get lighter going to the left and lighter going to the right. But you take your time and do it gradually. Now watch as I build. Watch as I build on this. We are moving. We are doing this process gradually, not suddenly. So just be a little bit patient with that, and we are going to see how we turn this circle that we have into a ball. So we want it to look like a ball after we are finished. It looks like a round ball. Come back down here and we darken it a little bit more. Notice I keep my shading in one direction. Guys, don't shade all over the place. I'm keeping my shading in one direction. Keeping the shading in one direction. Very, very important. And this shading is something that you can apply to any object depending on the shape of the object. Keeping my shading in one direction. As I move out, Michael, Teresa, I get lighter going towards the light. It is supposed to get lighter gradually moving towards the light. You get lighter gradually. So you ease up the pressure of the pencil. You kind of ease up your pressure of the pencil and just shade a little bit. Take almost like take your time. Take your time and shade lighter. Take your time. So in this exercise, we are learning to apply tones or values to a circle, and the result is that it is going to appear to be like a ball. It was first a circle, but after applying the tone to it, we are now changing the quality of it. It's going to now start to look like a ball, but the process is gradual. Take your time. This calls for a little bit of patience and not to do this suddenly, or else we are not going to get that kind of feeling that we want to. So we get from a dark, right where it seems to be resting down here is the darkest area. Remember that. So every now and again you can come back down to that area and darken it a little, and then move outward from that area to the left and to the right. To the left and to the right. By this time, by the time we reach right here where it's we seem to have the strongest source of light coming here, it must be the lightest of area. Just minimally, you take a pencil, lightly touching that area. So this calls for a little bit of patience, a little bit of finesse, a little bit of what you call a tender touch, not to be too rough with this area, but to be more soft in applying the tone. You ease off the pressure of the pencil. Do not press too hard on the pencil in getting there. So we make sure we change the value each step of the way, going toward the light or to the right or left. We ease off the pressure, changing the value of the tone, changing the value of the tone as we go along. We can look at it and see how it look, and then we come back again and I can darken down here a little bit more. So remember now, this is a gradual process, not a sudden process. It's gradual. I know you're finished, Michael, but I am not finished as yet. So when I'm, yours must look better than mine. Remember that. So don't finish until I am finished. Look at what I'm doing, and yours should look better than mine. I am not finished as yet, so watch me carefully, because there is something else that I have to do, and I am making sure that mine is beautifully done. Not just done because I want to finish, but it must be done. It must be beautifully done. Now, there's another thing that I'm going to do. There's another thing that I'm going to do right here. Right here, I'm going to darken a little bit, but it's not going to be as dark. Watch me carefully with this one now, Teresa. Here, I'm going to apply some dark, but as I move around here, I'm going to get lighter as I move around. But notice that this is not going to be as dark. It's not going to be as dark as here. Just notice carefully what I'm doing. This is all a part of the process. Notice now, very important, there's a reason why I left out that area just a while ago. There's a reason for leaving it out. Now, there's a light that bounces off the surface of the table, and for Pastor who did a lot of physics, it is called the light of refraction. It hits a surface and bounces. So when the light strikes the surface here, it bounces back up, and it's more like a secondary light. It's not the primary source of light, but it's a secondary light, Teresa. It's a light that bounces back from a surface, so it is not the direct source of light. Alright, I am not done as yet. Yes, it's all physics. Whenever, so there's a light that is called a light, is a secondary source where it strikes an area and bounces back and create a secondary source of light. So that is what we are doing here. And notice how we create this space. So we want to make sure that this is blended back so that you are seeing. Remember where the darkest area is. The darkest area is close to where the circle that we were working with first seem to have touched the surface of the table. So right here is always going to be where it seems as if the darkest area moving around until we come into the lightest part where the light now seems to be more intense. This now is where the direct source of light is coming from. Your direct source of light is, just imagine that this is the sun. So that's where your direct source of light is coming from, and that area is going to be the most intense area. And so you shade moving from always from a dark to a light gradually, not suddenly, but gradually, not suddenly, but gradually, not suddenly, but step by step. So you must be able to see the change from one value into the next. That is how we get the circle to appear to be like a ball. It was first a circle, now it's not a circle, it's more like a what you call a sphere. So it is what you call a sphere. That is why we don't done suddenly. Whose mic is open? That mic is we are doing some recording, by the way, guys. The mic there is creating some a lot of noise. Alright, so this is gradual, so I'm going to come back here and I'm going to put a little bit more of the shading going towards the light. Going towards the light. So we want to make sure that by the time we are through, we would have achieved this.
Mine looks nothing like yours.
And that is why I said take your time. You cannot finish this suddenly, Michael. And that's why I insist that you follow me. You're moving from the darkest area here gradually. And that's why it takes a little time, a little bit of patience. Just a little bit. So the application is, now this is a video. I have this one. And I'm going to give it, set it for you that you can practice. This is something now, how you get a circle to look like a ball. Or you get a circle to look somewhat like a ball. So here I'm going to be thing here now. So this now is, you can still, if you want, Michael, you can still go back down here, darken the area here a little bit to get it more. So you can make adjustments. You can adjust it to suit you. Even though it's not looking like it, but you can still make some adjustments to get it to look like what you want it to look like. So you can always adjust. Keep your shading in one direction. That is one of the trick to it. You keep your shading too in one direction. Don't shade all over the place. Come back if it is that you want to rub out something a little or make a little touch so that you get it to look like what you want it to look like. You can make some little alterations using your rubber to touch out some areas. That's fine. So here you go, getting it there, looking, backing off and taking a look to see if you are getting there. So but basically this is how you approach making a circle into like a ball, and the shading is our tuning is gradual. You're not going to get it all at once. That is why you can't rush it to say I'm finished, because you have to look on it and then say, okay, I need to adjust this, I need to adjust this, and then finally you will get there. Right at the front here, you are going to shade this kind of flat right in this area. You are going to shade this part here to use a flat. That's the front of the table. So you are going to shade this area flat. So this is like the front of the table. You're going to shade it flat.
You're going too fast.
Huh? Who is saying that, Michael?
No, me. The Carly.
Who is that? Dakari. I'm going fast, Dakari.
Yes.
Alright.
Still on the ball.
Oh, you're still on the ball. But that's okay. So let me go back on the ball with you. So what you can do each time Dakari right down here again, it's supposed to be a darkest part. So you can still notice I'm going to go over mine again here. And I'm going to darken it even a little bit more and fade it out. Because that's how you do it. You can still get a little bit darker there in that area where it seems to be resting, the part that seems to be resting on the table. And then the idea is that you fade it out a little bit. So nothing is wrong in going over that area again. So even when I am finished, you still could go over, because I still watch me. I'm going over it again and getting it a little bit even stronger or brighter and a little bit better. So I still can go over it. So I'm not really leaving you, because I can come back to this to make it a little bit stronger, a little bit brighter. And once you do this, this is how you will shade anything that is round. So anything that you have to shade that looks like a ball, you can apply this technique to it. Anything at all that is round, you can apply this technique to shading it. And notice we started out with a circle first, but now we have something that looks like a ball. I'm going to come down here.
I was late. I was late.
Okay. Sorry about that. Well, I have the video, Dakari, so I will send it in the group. I'll post a link of it so you guys can get it. And this is a practice. You practice this. So this is one of my things that I practice as well, because it helps me to know how to do this particular technique, which you can apply to anything that looks like a ball or anything that is round. So I use my rubber and pinch out a little piece of this here so that I can get it to look a little bit more round. Or you can use a rubber to put in some light. If you think that it's a bit too dark, you can use your rubber to put in some light. Just rub out a little bit and you are fine. So here I'm darkening just a little, and that is all. Being patient, just a little bit patient with it, and you start to get it to look, can be a little bit darker here, because this part is the part that is resting on the surface. As it moves to the left, it gets lighter. As you move to the right, you get lighter. So this is how the darkest part again is the part that seems to be resting on the table, the closest part. That's where you have the darkest part. Take your time. Notice I don't do it one time, I keep going over So in the video you will notice that I don't try to darken it one time. I go over the area more than once. Always be mindful that my darkest area is the area closest to where this circle once was circle, now is a ball, not a circle again, but now it has become a ball. Oh Lord, it is no longer a circle, but now it has become a ball. So this is something that you have to practice until you kind of get. It is something that you practice until you get. So while you are still up there doing that, I'm going to just move and shade this area, which is the front of the table or the front of the surface that it is the ball or the once was circle is lying on. So this is the front part of it, keeping my shading in one direction. There are some persons who love to shade all over the place. Always remember to keep your shading in one
Recording
direction.
in progress.
Very, very important. Keep your shading in one direction. It makes your work look more organized than if you are shading all over the place. So notice I'm keeping my shading in one direction. Now this is actually what you'd call a drill. Once you practice this kind of approach to how to shade turn a circle into a ball, anything that you are shading that is circular, you use the same approach. The same approach to shading anything circular to give it this particular effect. So this technique can be applied to anything that is circular in nature that you want to give the feeling. If it's a football, if it's a cricket ball, if it's a baseball, you use the same kind of approach. If it's a orange or any fruit that might have a round look, you can use the same approach or same technique to get this effect. Alright, so this one also, this is the surface, and then I am going to I want to make this a little bit darker because the light is not shining over this area, because this area is away from the light. This area is away from the direct source of light.
Recording stopped.
I am recording faster. So here on the top now we are going to give the surface on the top a little bit darker, but not as dark. We have 11, we have just about 19 minutes, and in that 19 minutes we would have completed this lovely shading. I'm going to go and shade the top a little bit lighter because the light is stronger up at the top there. So right here I'm going to shade, but I'm going to shade a little bit lighter. Notice the direction in which I'm shading. I'm shading in one direction. So this surface is going to be flat. It's going to be lighter than keeping my shading in one direction, not making this as light. And all of this was done free-handed. Here I'm going to come closer to the rim here and just making sure that I have the edge of this like how I want it. Notice as well that I keep my shading in one direction. So learning to apply tonal value to any object is important, because it tends to give the object a sense of three dimension, and that's one of the things that you want to learn. So even if it's an animated piece of work, if you notice in some of the animation that they have now, they are three-dimensional, not flat, and so they use apply tone to these animations. So this is one such applying tone to something that appears to be round. You take the same kind of application in doing that. And I'm going to be coming down to the gravy part of this now towards the end, and persons, you can continue because the shading is something you can shade it until you feel pleased. So although I might stop, you might want to put in a little bit more. That's fine. That is fine. And depending on how I feel, I might feel like I want to go up here and put in a little bit more. But notice as well that if you are doing that, you have to do it very light, very soft with the touch. You cannot be a rough person. You have to be very, very soft with that touch. Very soft with the touch. And that is how you will get this thing very, very soft. Cannot be rough at all. Very, very soft with the touch. Alrighty. So I see Dakar, how you stay?
Terrible.
Alright, you'll get the video. You'll get the video. Michael, how you stay? I know you can't stay one place, you know. Michael, you're on gone? Michael is gone. That Teresa, how you stay? Everybody gonna leave me. Oh Lord. Only Dakari one has only Dakari one has weathered the storm. See, I know I would catch you with this exercise, you know. Because this now it's a little bit above your pay grade, but this is something that you can go back to and you can try. I will use this on some of my students. Very, very important that you try to learn to do this particular exercise. So this exercise here, we have watch this now. So I'm going to chew in this one. So I want to give the impression I have just 12 more minutes. So I'm going to create a kind of watch this now, Dakari. You are there with me. So right here I am creating a feeling. I want to create a feeling, Dakari, right here where I am actually you finish? So right here I want to give the feeling that there's a background that is there. I just want to see how well you guys are thing there. So watch what I do. So I'm going to, in order to get the shape of this, rather than put a line around it, this is what I do. So rather than put a line around it, Dakari, I'm going to do this. And then I shade it this way. So I don't want to, I want to show all the light. So the circle or the ball now, it has no line around it, but I can use a background to actually bring out the shape that is there. And then what I do, Dakari, is that I use my rubber to remove the line just to make it bright and shiny. So there are no pencil lines there. So this is something that you will learn. You will have this video to look and say, oh, did sir do that? So this is like a background now I'm creating just to bring out the circle a little bit more. You can use your rubber and I kind of put a little line around it just to define it, because I want it to look like it is shining. Just imagine like if it were the sun or the moon. When you see that, kind of feel like it was the sun or the moon. And then I shade. Wow, that's good. So here now is where I have getting away with this. Almost come to an end. We have just about 3 minutes. Coming down to the last part, the gravy part of this thing. So here is where now I sometimes switch my pencil because I want the background just to be a little bit darker. Take off a little piece of this just to get the round. I'm not hearing Michael. Michael jump out for me this time because this one is giving him a little struggle, so Michael run. Michael, where are you? You can do it.
I'm done.
Oh, you're done, Michael. Alright. I thought you were running away, you know, man. Only Dakar wanna hear stand up, you know. Teresa, I know Teresa is always working in the shadows. But you guys are still strong enough because I have some other persons who will be crying like a baby by this time, you know. Weeping and mourning. But not you guys.
Well, it's not even that hard.
Eh?
The little bit is not that hard.
Okay, good, good. I love that. I love that. I love that. That is what I like to hear. You are up to a challenge. You see, because that is how life is. When it sends us lime, we turn it into lemonade. So we do not.
This is actually easier for me because I draw harder things than this.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So you are there with me, my boy. I see you are not backing away. That is good. That is good. I love that. No backing away. Alright, let me see what time. We only have 5 minutes to touch down. So let's make the most of the 5 minutes to touch down. So that part there is like the background of it. Bring this part here so that we can show the table.
Sarah, I'm not really seeing the top of the paper.
Oh, it doesn't extend. Alright, bring it up a little bit more, but it doesn't extend too much further up, so you can stop anywhere about there. So it doesn't go very far up. So anywhere like about here is fine. Anywhere about here is fine. And counting down, we are counting down now, and this is how basically we turn a circle. Remember, we started with a circle and now we have a ball. So that's what we started with, and now we have a ball to contend with. And that's the real aim of the exercise, that we can turn a circle into a ball, and you can actually just fix that there and use your rubber. You can use your rubber to gauge the edge of it, um, just for this exercise. I am quite fine with how the edges are. Okay, but you can use your, because this is what is important, so you can use your thing there. So anybody finish? So I'm just about there.
It's 6 o'clock.
Not quite. You have 2 minutes. So that's it basically. Thank you very much, guys. You have been good. So you are gonna show me what you have there. But thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna stop my recording here. Alright, let me pause it. Okay, so we just wanted to just finish up this for you guys, so you will just have some fun, enjoy what you're doing, and that's fine. Be patient, just take your time, and you will get everything. Take your time with what you're doing, and just understand how you approach doing this. You guys are doing marvelous so far. I'm very impressed, because at your age, this is quite a big leap that you are doing, and I love it. I love it. I love it. So this here that we have is going to be posted for you. You will just look at it and do the finish touches to it. Let me move out a little bit so that you understand that you are there, right? Mhm. Very good. So just make sure keep your shading in one direction. Yes, keep your shading in one direction. Guys, here when you reach here, you turn your pencil so that you get the shape of this thing. And just to make it look a little bit good. And getting down to the nitty-gritty here. And I kind of use my rubber just to help me in some of the areas, so you can actually use your rubber just to add where you want the light to see the shine a little bit more. Yes, you can actually use your rubber just to put the light back in that area, and you will have, you see what the shine is right. So yes, so you can actually use your rubber to catch that area, and I'm going to just shade lightly into that. Right, so where this is, putting in the secondary light source, which is on the bottom here. Just getting So I just want to clear this a little bit darker. As it moves around. Yes. Keeping my shading in the same kind of diagonal kind of a shape. In shading, I always tend to use this particular kind of approach to shading. So you can just take your time, guys, and to your work in. You don't have to be all easy, because this is a technique you want to learn as well as how to get this kind of feel, this round feel. Remembering at all times that down here where it seems to kiss the surface is where you'll have your darkest part, blending in your shadow. And it's coming around, blending in your shadow. Coming around here. So just forget the exercise really. So you might be seeing sometime at 100% round. This is all freehand. Some people would have used something that is exactly round to draw the first part of it, but sometimes just practicing to do it without is just fun, and just to see how close you can come to doing that. Here I'm putting in a little bit more tone and value in this area and here to create around. There. There. So this is one exercise, of course, that is important. Not a lot of persons like to do the exercise, but it's a very important exercise. And one to just help with your shading. Help with your shading. Here, could shave off a little piece here, but I'll fix that with you. Piece that is this. Just a little give and take. The idea, of course, is getting the circle, or the circle looking like a ball. Getting this. your shadow. You can add on a little bit more of the shadow here. So come on a little bit more. Alright. So a little bit more of the shadow. Just a little bit more of the shadow here. Alrighty, so we're going to leave it at that, but I think you will get the point or the gist of this exercise. So thank you very much.